Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So, we're done with flowers and vines for a bit, working on the garden wall, the decorative band and the scroll work today. Yeah, what I will be stitching today. I wanted to try and stitch earlier today. I'll make a video earlier today, but they were doing snow removal on our street and it was way too loud. So yeah, just sit there and wait for it to go away. So they should be done now. They actually didn't clear it completely, like they didn't get all the way down to the pavement, but I think they were doing it more so that it won't flood. Yeah, because we're having 2 weeks of warm temperatures and there's a fair amount of ice, so yeah, they don't want things flooding, so they have to clear it. So yeah, they don't just plow it to the sides of the street, they actually truck it out of town. So actually it was quite a process that my son used to like to watch when he was little. Yeah, because they have a grader come along and it scrapes up all the ice, because usually it's several inches thick of ice by that point. Oh, I do have one. Oh, but I marked it in the wrong spot, or parked it in the wrong spot, and I didn't mark that it was parked. Or I unmarked it because I thought it was something different. Haha. Oh well. Yes, I know this is the color. I just parked it incorrectly, so there we go. But anyway, yeah, so grader comes along, scrapes it all up, and it ends up piled in the center, which can be a pain because, like, last night what they did is they scraped it all up, then they left it because it was the end of their work day. And so yeah, to drive to your house, since you can't just go and make a left turn across the street because there's a 3.5 foot, 4 foot pile of ice there. So instead you have to like drive all the way around and turn around and come down the other side of the street. Well, either that or you can drive the wrong way, but I don't recommend that, because if you do, if there's any kind of accident, you'll be at fault for driving on the wrong side of the road. So yeah. And then they come along with a backhoe that, well, they cut out spots so people can turn, right? They cut out the intersections from the piles of snow, and then later the backhoe gets a big what should I call it, like snowblower attachment, and then yeah, they actually blow the snow into dump trucks. So they actually have to coordinate it pretty well. You have the one guy with the snowblower and the guys with the dump truck, and they sort of inch along, and he blows the snow in until it fills up the truck. Then he has to stop. That truck takes off, and then another one has to pull up and take its place. And yeah, they usually take about 4 dump trucks worth to clear a street. And often they're carrying like 2 trailers, not just the one. So yeah, it's quite a process. But yeah, like I said, when my kiddo was little, he loved to watch it, and sometimes they would wave at him as they went by. So yeah. So yeah, I'm not starting at 0. 75, I think, is where I began today. And I'm a little more awkward today because, yeah, I slipped and got myself with a knife. Not much, it's very shallow, but the problem is it's right where when I pull the needle, grip the needle to pull it up through the fabric, it would go right into the little groove injury that I made there, and yeah, hurt. So yeah, I had to put a band-aid on, but then that means it's harder to, yeah. You don't realize how much you use your sense of touch and stuff to guide it until it's compromised. Yeah. So it was like, I remember we were watching a show and they needed to fix something, and the guy had hurt his hands and he couldn't do it. And, one of the other people was like, well, I'll do it. Let me be your hands. And so he's trying to explain it. And then he's like, okay, push it until, and then he's like, I don't even know how to describe it. He's like, I just know how it feels when it clicks into the right place, right? When it's the right amount of pressure or whatever. Yeah, it's hard to tell someone else. It's just something that you've trained for years. Yeah. So Yeah, my threading is not as good today because I'm having to use my my third finger and my thumb instead of my index finger, which is what I normally do. So yeah, makes things a little more awkward. But if I can still stitch, I'm gonna. Yeah. Ooh. I apologize. I had a very lousy sleep. Ugh. My nose thing that I use to keep me from snoring, they last 45 days. When they say that, they're not kidding, because yeah, last night I kept on at just as I was drifting off. I would relax enough and then snore and wake myself up, and yeah, it's like torturous. And luckily I had a backup one that I hadn't used yet, so when I realized that was the problem and switched it out, then I was able to fall asleep, but not until after 2 hours of torturing myself. Oh, said it's like, imagine having someone there and the moment you're about to fall asleep, they shake you, like, every time. Oh, not fun. Yeah. I said I may need a CPAP machine one day, but for the moment I don't. So yeah, because my husband actually went out to a late night showing to watch the second Dune movie with one of his friends from work. And they invited me along, but I knew it was starting late, and I know it's a long movie, right? Over 2 hours. So I said, nah, I know my husband's planning to buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray, so I will just watch it then. Yeah. So we got a nice big TV and a great sound system. I don't have to deal with gross sticky floors or anything like that, so I'll just watch it at home. Yeah. Movie tickets are expensive nowadays. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, Tuesday, you'd get to go see a matinee for $1, you know. That there's no such thing as that now. At least not where I live. Yeah. There was one time, actually, I went to see a matinee because it was my day off work, and it was a matinee, and I went, and I ended up being the only person who bought a ticket for that showing. So yeah, it was nice. I said I could sit right in the perfect spot in the middle of the theater, and when the characters made bad decisions, I could yell at them for it. I would never do that if there were other people in the theater, right? If I'm by myself, I can cheer and yeah, everything. So yeah, it was Remember the Titans I went to go see, starring Denzel Washington, which was based on a true story about a football team. Yeah, when my sister and I were teenagers, that was sort of our favorite thing to do. We'd often go shopping and have lunch and then go see an afternoon movie. Not necessarily any movie in particular either. We would just go and see what was on. So that's how we ended up seeing Toy Story 2 in theaters, even though it was kind of like below our age, recommendation. But yeah, like there was nothing else that we were really interested in. And we went, well, it's only $1. Let's go see Toy Story. Yeah, so we did. Well, often what would happen is we would go to see a movie, and in the previews, we would see, oh, wow, that looks really good. And it's coming out in, a few weeks, right? Because they'd be advertising it. And so then we go see that movie. And then in the previews for that movie, we'd see another one. It's like, oh, that looks good too. We should go see that. So yeah, obviously it was working, right? That's what they hoped for. Come on. There we go. I think I will tie off this thread pretty soon. It's getting kind of worn thin. Well, actually, I'm cheap, but I'll sneak a few more stitches out of it. So yeah, I'm kind of working more in a horizontal band today because the pattern is kind of in that direction, so I'm just gonna follow it. Yeah, kind of work up to where it becomes the purple flowers again, and then I'll continue on there downwards after that. So yeah, I don't think, like I said, that I will complete this past this month, but I feel pretty safe to say that next month I will. My gosh. There we are. Sometimes I can pull the knot free without looking, but sometimes that's not going to happen yet. Okay. Yeah, but it's lovely out there right now. I have to watch for ice, but it's can walk outside, which is nice. Went on a walk this morning to well, I got a notification on my app, the drugstore, that was, you know, if you spend a minimum of a certain amount, they give you almost half of it back in points. So yeah, I know they do those just to get you in the store, and they definitely do work on me. Well, I mean, I'm buying things that I would need to use anyway, so I'm just kind of like, to me, it's like, I'm not going to turn down $25 of free money, right? If they're going to give it to me. Okay, I think I might do one out of order here. Let's see. Or I might do another thread. Let's take a look. Oops. This color. Oh, I think this one might be only long enough to do. Yeah, one more stitch. Okay, that's why I parked it there. I was actually planning ahead. Yeah. Yes, I knew I was going to start another thread. Oh dear, my goodness. So yeah, I think I'll get 34% completed, but 35 might be out of reach. Like I said, I don't really make goals anymore. It's just too stressful. Yeah, so it's my kiddo's birthday this month, and he's turning 17. So I'm like, my kid is going to be a legal adult in a year. Like, what? Oh my gosh. It really does just fly. Yeah, when I'm like, you're a kid, it's like, you don't really understand that when adults say that, because of course for you, it's your entire life experience, right? It doesn't seem a short time to you. Yeah. When you realize that your parents are getting older, right? I mean, like in my mind, my parents are like still in their 40s, even though it's like, well, that's impossible. I'm in my 40s, right? But yeah. Yeah, so my father-in-law, he's clearing a lot of stuff out in preparation to eventually downsize, and he offered me all of my mother-in-law's yarn collection, which I was honored, and I said, oh yeah, I'll definitely take it. I'll make a blanket or something in memory of her, and I'll maybe make it and give it to him, because I think he would like that. Yeah. He doesn't watch this channel, so I don't have to worry. He won't know. My sister-in-law sometimes does, so yeah. I had to wait until I mailed off the blanket to really mention a lot about it. couldn't say who I was making it for specifically. And I mentioned it after it was done and mailed off, and she got it. Yeah, my one of my other sister-in-laws, she started making Care Bears for the kids in the family, and I swear everybody started having tons of babies at the same time. She's like, no, I can't keep up. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if she still did it, but yeah, she had her own kids and everything, so yeah. It was quite a lot of kids all at once, because I think her brother has, and wife, they have 6, and she has 7 now, and yeah, another of her siblings has 4. Yeah, it's a very prolific family. It was in my side of the family too for a while. It seemed everybody was like, no, I can't knit fast enough. I did manage to get them done in time, but I said, yeah, I don't like knitting on a deadline. It makes me anxious. Yeah, and I can't really knit for extended periods like I used to be able to. Yeah, my hands get sore. Although, yeah, I started taking glucosamine about a month ago, and that has helped, because I did notice, especially in my dominant hand, I was starting to get like arthritic pain. I guess I'm the right age for that, right? And I figured I might as well give it a try. And yeah, they said to wait a month to really feel any difference, but I noticed within a couple of weeks. Because yeah, my problem was grasping things, especially with my dominant hand, it would hurt. And now it only does if I try to pick up something that's too heavy with one hand. Yeah, otherwise it's been good, and haven't needed to take any painkillers for it, which I prefer not to do if I can help it. So yeah, it's like a natural thing that you know, your body no longer produces as well as you get older. So yeah. Alrighty. Ooh, goodness, yeah. Like I said, I'll probably yawn a lot today. Apologize in advance. Yeah, it's just this time of year too. Yeah, I had a friend in the States saying they keep voting out the daylight saving, but it never seems to actually go anywhere, you know. And yeah, we had an election, and it was voted to keep it by a very narrow margin. But yeah, I was frustrated by it. I will always complain until it's gone, which might be never. Yeah. I'd like to be wrong, but oh well. Like I said, my threading is not as good today because I can't use my index finger like I normally do. Yeah, it's funny. I talk about Legend of Zelda on this channel a lot because I'm a gamer, and it came up in my memories when my son was about 6 or something, and we played Ocarina of Time with him. And so he drew a picture of a snowman dressed like Link using a key to open a locked door. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, he was in a phase of everything was snowman, and then yeah, like he added Link's hat and tunic, but he had like stick arms. Yeah. And then yeah, I had a friend who's like, "Oh yeah, you're raising him right." Yeah, he was the one who noticed we were watching Star Trek: The Next Generation. He says, "Mom, why is there a Triforce on the warp core?" I'm like, "Is there?" And I like kind of zoomed in and looked. And it's like, he's right, there is. How did I never notice that before? I'm a fan of both franchises and never noticed it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's supposed to be a hazard symbol or something, but it does kind of look like a Triforce symbol. So. Yeah, so still waiting for one of our last tax form things to arrive, tax receipt things to arrive, so I can finally get that done for another year. Ugh. Yeah, I got everything gathered together, just waiting for one more to arrive in the mail. I know exactly what amount it's going to be too, but I said you just watch. If I just fill it in as if we already have the tax form, that'll be like the time we get audited, right? So yeah, gotta wait. Well, they're not due till mid-April, so it should arrive anytime. Hopefully this week, and then I can get it done. Yeah, I was telling my kiddo that because he worked an actual official job for a week last summer. He was his dad's assistant, and so he did get a T4 in the mail. And I said, yeah, and if you make below a certain amount, any deductions, payroll deductions that were made, because he only made like, less than $1,200. So yeah, any payroll deductions, you get them all back. But the software to file, I think, is like $20. So yeah, like not really worth it. Yeah. I'll see, because sometimes they had you could do up to 5 returns from a single family on one, but they changed that, I think. That was years ago when you were actually buying a physical CD-ROM, not just a code to do it, to download it from the internet, because yeah, now. Yeah, I said it kind of frustrates me that so much software now, you don't actually get it as a physical piece of media anymore. It's all download, which means like they could just sort of make it disappear whatever they want, right? Yeah, I'm still old-fashioned enough. I still like to buy things on DVD, not just pay for a digital download, because yeah, I like to actually own it. Oh, I think I missed, I did too. I missed this stitch right here, which is the same color, so that's no problem. Yeah, I thought I did it in the last, I must have either thought I did it or I accidentally highlighted it earlier. sometimes, yeah, that does happen, so that's fine. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna kind of cut this off sort of halfway, a couple rows down here, work across. Darn, that was threaded, but did not stay that way. Yeah, I'm gonna use a different strand, even though those are close. Just gotta cut it off somewhere. So it doesn't happen very often that it does that. But yeah, those are kind of twisted around each other, so I'm just gonna unthread them and start again. Oops. Had my thread through the eye of the needle, then I pulled it the wrong direction. There we go. Okay, actually I'm going to drop back down here again. that didn't feel right. Yeah. Too much resistance there, so I knew I hadn't gone down in the correct place. There, that's better. Slid through easily like it's supposed to. Do the pink one first. What I'm going to do is, these threads are kind of in my way, so I'm just going to pull them out of my way. Change position here. Oh, shoot. All right, hang on a minute. Okay, we are back. At least it wasn't for a telemarketer this time. Yeah, it was for an actual call I needed, so. Yeah, I swear that is the worst when you have to interrupt what you're doing and answer the phone, and then it's either an auto dialer or dead air, or yeah, it's the worst. Yeah, and that's my landline. I say in quotes because technically it's not actually a landline anymore. It's actually internet, but it is the same number as my old landline was. Sorry, bonking the camera there. Yeah. Well, we were upgrading a bunch of stuff and they gave us the option to keep the number for only $10 a month. So I went, yeah, might as well, because there's still some people that's the only contact info they have for us. So yeah. Yeah, although one of my friends said, yeah, she canceled hers because she felt like she was just paying just to have a line that telemarketers could call on her for. Yeah. I'm on the do not call list. There's Canada has a national one you can add your number to, and like every 3 years you have to renew it. But there's sometimes they still get through. And it's a auto dialer, robot. So it's not like you can really tell them to take you off the list. They won't respond. Although they're getting better. I got a call from one that I knew was a machine. You could hear the clicks and stuff every now and then when it changed script, but they had recorded like an actual person talking. So I was like, oh, it's such a relief to talk to an actual person. They're I kept getting answering machines and stuff. And like, yeah, it was weird. Yeah. Making use of that. Yeah. Technology, but. Because like when it's an obvious computer voice, right? You don't get people to engage, but actually they got me once with one one of the first times I got called by one of those, and I actually talked to it for a while before it started giving me like the same answers. And I'm like, okay, this person keeps repeating themselves. And it was like, oh, it's a machine. So yeah, it's only got a few pre-programmed answers and it picks the best one, right? Yeah. Yeah, I remember it was this place called, I think it was like Family Safe Movies, where supposedly they would take movies and cut out like, you know, violence or whatever that you might not want younger kids to see and stuff. And I remember thinking, that doesn't sound like it's okay, right? Like you could get into copyright trouble. And they said, well, they tell you have to own the original. I'm like, but you're still altering like copyrighted material. And yeah, a couple years later, I was curious and I Googled to see if they were still around. And yeah, they were, but they were now making their own original content because they had been told to cease and desist. Yeah, with altering stuff, which I kind of thought would happen. Yeah. Like, 'cause I know there were people sometimes who actually would take their own VHS tapes and like physically cut the stuff out, but that's your own copy. But if you start doing that and distributing it to other people, yeah, you're gonna get in trouble. You can't do that. Especially if you're charging for it, right? Yeah. And you're getting into you could get sued territory, so come on. There we go. Sometimes I can get them to come apart like that, and sometimes they will not. Yeah, so not as many big blocks here, but because it's fewer colors, this can go a little bit quicker, I find. Yeah, so move my frame again. And I'm going to have to move it at least one more time before I do that. Reach that very far edge. I usually sort of give the needle a little twist every now and then to untwist it, sort of the opposite way that it likes to twist. But with the bandage on my finger, I kind of can't feel it as well. So yeah, I'm getting a bit more twisty today because of that. So I've got 2 threads of this color, but there's enough stitches of this color that I'm gonna use both, I'm pretty sure. Jump around with this one a little bit. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was thinking of taking a nap this afternoon, but then I remembered that it's early dismissal day at school, so there's not much point. Kiddo will come home and he's not exactly quiet when he comes in. Yeah. Teenagers, right? Yeah. Okay. Sometimes, even when it's a little bit shredded like that, I can get it to all come through, but sometimes no. Yeah, I knew this thread was pretty short, so the other one will take over. Yeah, that's all we're gonna get out of this one. Yes, I had like my last acupuncture treatment. So, yeah, feeling better. She said, well, so are you feeling good or do you want more? And I said, no, I think I'll be good. She said, yeah, okay, well, and I guess I hope I don't see you. Yeah. But I'm guessing I'll probably have to come in once a year for, 6 weeks worth of appointments, which is fine by me. Yeah. My husband had acupuncture done after he had a back injury, and he had 3 sessions, and basically it cured all his pain. And that was, I think our kiddo was like 1, maybe. Yeah. And he's been fine ever since. So yeah, it was amazing. And but I have a chronic issue, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I always have to sort of go in for maintenance, but that's okay by me. And yeah, sort of insurance covers 6 sessions. Well, it covers like 5.5, so yeah, kind of works out then. Yeah, whereas my husband's was from an actual injury, so yeah, they said the problem was that he had a stress fracture in his back and it compressed a nerve, and then sort of because a nerve was compressed, the muscles would tighten, which would compress the nerve more, which would make the muscles tighten. And yeah, and basically it's like they interrupted that cycle, and so now it doesn't. Yeah, at least that's the theory behind it, but whatever it was, it worked. So yeah, kind of don't really care why it worked, but as long as it did. Yeah, because it was not good, because he couldn't pick up more than a few pounds, and which meant he could barely pick up our baby, right? Yeah. I think he can still pick our kid up now. Even though he's almost as tall as Dad is now. Yeah. Yeah, although I remember it was funny, in our son had made, in a group project, they made little jetpacks out of construction paper, so like tubes, and then they had straps, well, like yarn straps to hold it on, so it was like a jetpack. And yeah, the one night he had it on, and my husband made the mistake of, flying him into his bed, and then that became the night routine for like a year. Yeah, he would, brush his teeth, get in his pajamas, put on the jetpack, and then Dad would have to fly him around the room and then into his bed. Until it was like, yeah, you're getting too big for this, dude. And he had all sorts of little rituals. There was one he wanted to, when he's really little, he liked us to take him, and he'd outside the back door, and he'd look around, and yeah, like he liked to check that everything was fine, and yeah, turn on the porch light, and yeah. And then for a while, for years, he had this one where he wanted to climb into our bed and have 10 seconds sleep, and he'd count to 10, and then we'd say, okay, good night, and then take him back to his room and tuck him in, and yeah, it was funny. It was funny. He and his dad, they have this running joke. They like to scare each other. And this was funny. One time our son climbed into our bed to hide, and then he was gonna scare his dad, jump out from under the covers, but then he was so tired he fell asleep. So yeah, his dad found him. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I was gonna scare you, but I fell asleep. I was tired. Oh. All right, I'm gonna park this down here. It's getting short, and I'll attach a new piece in a bit. Yeah, I asked them to leave me out of their scaring game because, yeah, I'm anxious enough. I don't need that, but yeah, they like to do that. They don't often catch each other, so yeah, it's like to them very satisfying when they actually do manage to. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah, not bad. For 200, like I said, I did start at 75, but that's still a pretty good number. It's the worst part of having to wear a band-aid when I'm stitching is I sometimes get the needle stuck in it. I one time accidentally stitched through just like a single fiber on the edge. Yeah, that it was stuck. I was sewn into my work. Oh, goodness. Oh, pardon me. Okay. Goodness. I think I'm gonna split this up a bit because of how I want the thread to end up. I'm getting a tangle here. So yeah, what I often do is just unthread it at that point. Yeah. Split it apart. All right. Separated them a bit. Let's see if I can pull it free now. Yep. Oh, that one is tied onto itself. Doesn't happen very often. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm just going to reset all of these. Can tend to happen sometimes, so sometimes I'll just do a fresh start. Some of these were already unthreaded, so just pull all the needles off. Start afresh. Did I drop one? Yes, I did. Okay. I thought I did, and I did not want to sit on it. That is not a fun way to find a needle. There we go. So just, yeah. Starting afresh. Oh, goodness me. Yeah, and actually, I'm probably taking a break too soon. Okay. I think I will finish these stitches that I've highlighted here. And then I think I'm going to take a break. Yeah, I am fighting to stay awake, so. Oh, gee. What a way to end it, right? Piercing the fabric wrong. There we go. Okay. So there. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.